Hey guys, Anish here, career coach to the fiercely ambitious, back at you today with a video that is all about sharing the tips and strategies that are going to give you an unfair, I hope, advantage on every Zoom interview, every Zoom meeting, every high-stakes situation that involves that platform or any kind of streaming platform like that, okay? And I want to give you a very particular take on this because I know there's a lot of advice out there, a lot of do's and don'ts and stuff like that, but I want to frame it from the point of view of what can you as someone who might be looking for a job, who might be looking to transition into a different career, who might be struggling with being perceived in too low of a level or age discrimination or any of those problems. How can you use the particularities of this particular platform to gain an unfair advantage, okay? And there are certain key things, okay? Certain hacks that I'm really excited to share with you guys today that I use right to this day, okay? That help me before I ever hop on to one of these. Before you know it, I've already set the stage, set it up so that I've already given myself as much of an opportunity for success as possible. And that's what it's all about, okay? So let's talk about a few things here, and I'm gonna be referring to my notes here on my alternate screen throughout, okay? So the most important piece of advice I can give you when it comes to actually rocking things on something like a Zoom meeting, okay, or a Zoom interview, is the strategy that you're going to use. Yes, I've got some technical details here. Yes, that's important. But the number one thing is, what are you trying to accomplish? What are you trying to accomplish? Your goal should now, and let me just plant the seed in your mind if I'm lucky enough to expose it to you for the first time, okay? The mistake we make is thinking, I'm going to go show up at this interview and I'm going to be the best for this role. I'm going to win out this role. And what I would suggest to you is take a page from what true experts, true success stories are doing out there. There is no pitching. There's no presenting. This is basically, if it's the first interview, this is a knowledge gathering session. Okay, my job is to gain an appreciation of what is really going on there, the true scope of the problems. How could I possibly know what salary range I need or what all of that is if we don't get to the basics first? It doesn't make any sense, right? So my job actually is the higher level of an expert I am, right? The more I'm going to delay gratification, okay? The more I'm going to say uncover until the solution is so blindingly obvious that everyone is crying out for it, right? So uncover the whole way through, okay? Understand what is going on, which means that from a point of view of preparation, rather than preparing for questions based on your resume or quote unquote perfect answers to interview questions, what I would recommend is spend the majority of your time thinking, okay, what are the questions that I want to ask? If I'm walking into this situation and I accepted this role sight unseen, and what I'm about to find out in this call is going to determine what I am personally responsible for, what I'm going to be, what my performance is going to be gauged on, and how successful I'm going to be, what questions do I need to ask? Right? Across how many different facets of this business can I start exploring to start pulling the pieces together here so that I can start gaining a fuller appreciation? Because the more I understand, the better equipped I am to apply the right kind of leverage in this situation to move it to an outcome, okay? Let me give you an example. Let's say that you're hypothetically an executive, you focus on business strategy, you focus on the IT aspect to a degree, and you've got this strong finance background. Wouldn't it behoove you to know that the person that you're speaking with, they really don't care about anything but the finance part? They like the fact that you have a mix there, but the most brutal aspects of their pain is coming from the financial operations. Would it not serve you well to know that first before you started pitching yourself or pitching a solution, right? That's what this is all about. So I would spend the majority of your time, the earlier you on in the hiring process, the more time I would spend on questions, the right questions to ask, okay? Think about the way you would like this conversation to go, ideally, okay? Think about taking it from this logical, maybe job posting or not, oriented place into a place where we're talking the shorthand, Get them excited, but also take what you're learning personally, as though you were personally responsible. It's one of the key things behind a hire is that you could see 20 people, 30 people, okay? Discuss a role, discuss an opportunity. But the one that works is the one where you can tell, whoa, He or she took it all the way there. They've been mulling over this. They personalized it. Personalize it right from the get-go, okay? Okay, now, a couple of technical tips here that I hope really, really help, okay? Camera setup. It's really not a good idea if you have like a laptop or something like that to just use that webcam set up the way that it is, okay? Because when you're hunched in like this and you're like down, there's like a looming aspect to it, and your body language and all that, this is not set up for success. My advice to you would be roughly at least a few feet distance if you can. And if it's a laptop camera or whatever, that's fine. But just use a stack of books or something like that so the eye level is at or even a little bit higher than what you're comfortable with, okay? This is going to naturally open you up, open up your body language, open up the space that you're taking. Think about it this way, okay? In this frame, if I'm occupying this tiny space, it doesn't look very good, right? It doesn't seem very credible, right? But if I've made the changes so that I can own the majority and the central real estate of this space, I'm already communicating confidence and authority before I've already said word one, okay? So the camera setup is important, okay? High level is good, at or above your natural eye level, okay? Forcing you to sit up straight, if you will, you know, as every teacher we've hated, I'm sure at some point has told us. Okay, here's a great tip. Next to the camera, wherever it is, have a picture of someone that just looking at their face brings a smile to your face, maybe ideally someone that you love or deeply care about, and someone that you want to do well, someone that you naturally want to help, okay? Look for people who meet that criteria, print out a picture, put it right next there. And you can have it a little bit above the camera if you want. You can have it a little bit to the left and just periodically glance at it, but it's going to set the right tone, okay? The magic, okay, most people look at the computer screen, right? They're looking at their notes and all of that. What I'm going to tell you, okay, what is absolutely magic in terms of building rapport when you're not face to face, look at the camera. Make the camera lens your friend. Make it as if you were talking to this person that's posted next to it, okay? And bring that warmth to bear on every single conversation, regardless of what you're getting initially from the other side, okay? This is a great start off point, okay? Okay. So the picture, we talked about the reason, the camera angle. Listen, look at the space right behind where you're going to be set up. And by the way, if I haven't said it, another little tip, choose an area that you're authentically comfortable with. Now is not the time to go into an unfamiliar part of the house and try to do it. Now is the time to go into a place that you already feel like a bit of a rock star in, you know, a little bit of a big baller in, right? With an eye towards that, look at the area right behind and around you. You know, theoretically, the whole rest of my office here could look like a disaster zone, right? All I have to control is this area. So degrees, certifications, elements of pleasure, things that you're proud of. I've had clients. I had a recent client who was a huge Green Bay Packers fan. It was filled with that stuff, not to a crazy extent, but enough to show some personality and some connection. You know, own this real estate. It's really, really important. And again, it does something about setting a tone of comfort and credibility, right? Light behind the camera, okay? You can use ambient lighting. You could use things like the key light. I use that. That's a product I'm a big fan of. I'll show you why right here. You'll notice that the lighting is changing, right? This is one light. It's connected via Wi-Fi. I can change the warmth. I can change the brightness. I have to get it back to somewhat what it was before. But that's a great light source that I can't recommend enough. Place it anywhere behind your camera. It's really fantastic. You can also get a somewhat similar effect just by having ambient light behind the camera. Okay, that's the important part. Yes, there's some lighting here, but this is not really as important as what's going on over here, right? Overdo it. In the early days, I had like 5, 6, 7 lamps immediately behind my computer screen because, again, the greater the lighting, the greater the ambient lighting that's around you, the more authoritative, the more credible, the more safe it seems for us to really get into it. The less of that there is, the more grimy and stuff it looks like. For some reason, it can cause a barrier there, okay? So And the last tip I would have is if you can, try not to rely on the inbuilt audio. Try getting even a basic mic in front of you, or you could use AirPods, or you could use a headphone. The audio quality really matters, and it'll help you dial in on more details. Okay, guys, I hope that helps. If you want to go further with what I teach, what I train, the next stop for you should be helloanish.com, HELLOANISH.com. Thank you guys very much. Have a wonderful day.